All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Golf Unfiltered podcast. You've got the original crew here. You've got Nikki's back. Hi, Nikki.
Hi,
We've
I'm
got
here.
Dan as well. Nikki's here. Yay. Trevor's out. He's not able to make it today, but we are here to talk about a few different topics. We're going to get to a quick Open Championship recap. I know this is recording later on a Monday afternoon, so many of you have probably heard your fair share of Open Championship recaps. But folks, we had a pretty interesting ending to that championship. I did have a chance to watch a little bit more of it than usual these days. Nikki, your initial reaction to Xander Schauffele, two-time major champion now. Wow.
Yeah, he just looked so like calm, cool, and collected coming in. Like I feel like I wanted like a little more like excitement out of him, you know? I mean, like his dad got emotional.
Right.
But like I don't know, I just wanted like a little more something out of him, you know, like that he just won his second major. Um, but I mean, it was still exciting, but I guess it's cool to see how just unrattled he was and how just like calm he stayed. It was very reminiscent of like uh this may ruffle some feathers by saying this, but like how Tiger just stayed so calm,
Yeah.
In his early days, not comparing Xander to Tiger and performance wise, but like that's just how Tiger used to be. But yeah, it was interesting. I hate it for, you always got to talk about the people who didn't pull one out, but I kind of was rooting for Justin Rose there for a while. Like,
Yeah.
I, you don't know. I mean, how many more chances is he going to have to be in that position? I mean, we had to qualify to even make it there, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah. So, I mean, I was kind of pulling for him, to be honest. And then I know Billy Horschel's not like the most popular person out there, but I was kind of pulling for him too.
Yeah.
Mainly because he's on Atlanta Drive Golf Club, and no one on our team has done really anything as of late. So I was like, man, it would be nice to get a win before we head into that TGL season. So yeah, but I mean, it's still exciting for Xander. So to have two and to have one right before you head into the Olympics where he's
Yeah.
defending his gold medal. So yeah, I thought it was exciting.
The two Olympians of past Olympiads performed really well, Justin Rose and Xander Schauffele. Dan, your thoughts on Xander pulling out another one?
Well, first off, old takes exposed. Feel free, Adam. Send the clip in. That's fine. That was the last major. We're done with. Vic didn't win anything, so I'll eat that one. Nikki, obviously Vic was my ticket. I had, that was pretty dead come Thursday. Adam, you and I were talking Saturday night. I hammered Billy. I really thought that it was finally going to happen. Just the way he played in those conditions Saturday, I figured even if the conditions were a little bit better for the rest of the field come Sunday, it would just mean it would be even better for him as well. And then just the way he was talking Saturday night and everything like that, I really thought that was finally going to be it. Man, nothing hurts more than when your ticket's dead, but the guy goes birdie, 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 finish to mean nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, where was that birdie, birdie, birdie run when it still meant what you were still alive? But as far as Xander goes, I don't know. Maybe this is just my own fault or my own algorithm, or I had goggles on or whatever. I felt like he was not getting it talked about at all in the lead up. I felt like he was getting not talked about or barely shown at all Thursday, Friday, even Saturday. I felt like Saturday night when everyone was talking about who's it going to be. I don't think that, I mean, you and I were obviously having our normal Saturday night conversation for other reasons for it, but Xander never got brought up in that conversation. I didn't really see his name getting mentioned much over on golf Twitter either. So like I said, maybe it was just me and I had the blinders on, so to say. But I feel like that it was like the most under the radar, low key, like major win I think we've seen in a long time, in the sense that even as far as like, and TV coverage is as bad as it is, still dictates a lot of as far as like who's the guys that we're watching. And once again, maybe I just wasn't watching enough of it or not paying close enough attention, but I don't feel like he was really getting shown much on Saturday. Definitely not Friday. I can't even remember a single shot he hit Friday on TV. And then Saturday too. I honestly don't think that he was. I can't listen. I mean, when you get up at 4 a.m. for Thursday and Friday, days start to go together, shots start to, everything starts to, you slip into delirium. But I just don't remember seeing a ton of him being shown. And then all of a sudden, Sunday, boom, he wins it.
So not to be that person, but this would not be the first time that, because this was a NBC broadcast, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this would not be the first time that NBC has like not mentioned someone who was in contention or like potentially in contention until the last minute and kind of made everyone go, what? Where did this person come from? To tie it all around into the Olympics in 2012 and the gymnastics Olympics, Jordan Weber was like the name.
Yep.
Everyone's talking about Jordan Weber, Jordan Weber this, Jordan Weber failed to qualify for the all around. And then Aly Raisman comes out of nowhere for the casual fan who's just watching on NBC. No mention of Aly Raisman at all. And people are like, who the heck is Aly Raisman? Where did she come from? So it's, again, NBC was just no mention of this person. So just tying that back in nicely too.
I like that.
The
That was well done.
Really well done. I think there are a few people out there that have heard of her now. That's for sure.
Exactly. Yes.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Olympics are coming up very soon. I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm super excited. I love the Summer Olympics. Absolutely love it. Nikki and Dan, I know you both do as well. Couple thoughts on the Open Championship before we switch topics. I know Scotty Scheffler, obviously huge year this year. That's underselling it. His strokes gained putting this week was abysmal. He gained so many strokes on the field everywhere else, tee to green, approach, off the tee, what have you. Putting was absolutely awful. Me and my buddies were watching a couple holes together, and my one friend's like, you know what? If this guy could putt this week, he would have just lapped the field. I mean, Scotty, his 3-wood on Saturday in those conditions on, I forget which hole it was, par 3, I think it was like 17. To 3 feet. I mean, it was ridiculous how good he hit the ball all week. Couldn't get the ball in the hole. And this is, of course, after the story where Rory told him, you got to switch putters and become a better putter and what have you. It just kind of fell off the map at the end there. Was that a surprising finish for undoubtedly and unarguably the best golfer this year?
I don't think so. I think, to me, ironically, like at the PGA, arrest aside, he did not have Ted Scott the whole time. And then this week, Ted Scott was, I think, pretty ill. And so like he may have been physically out there, but Ted Scott was not there like the whole time. And I think that makes a big difference in Scotty's play. Like, I think that truly impacts how well Scotty like performs. And so, I mean, to your point, because even at the PGA, like he was making decent shots, but he just couldn't finish. And I think that, I don't know, I think Ted Scott's has a much bigger impact on Scotty's performance than maybe even Scotty likes to admit.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Dan, I know that Ted likes to assist with green reading. That might be a big thing from Scotty's perspective this week.
Yeah, I mean, on Sunday when I clearly wasn't paying attention to Xander Schauffele, I kept sitting there and I kept thinking, I'm like, one of these falls, all it takes is for one of these things to fall and it's game over. As I'm sitting sweating trying to figure out who's gonna be the one to chase down Horschel, or who's gonna be the one to come from a few shots back. And I just, as the round kept going on and they weren't going in, and I'm like, one of these is going to fall. I've seen this. We've seen this play out a million times. One of these putts is going to fall. Something's going to click, and he's going to not miss another putt for the entire rest of the tournament and run away with this thing. And every time it didn't happen, I'm like, okay, so it'll happen on the next one. Then obviously we ran out of holes for it to happen. It has become abundantly clear this year that there are only two things that seem to be able to stop Scotty Scheffler from winning: police officers and his putters. And that's about it.
Police officers,
specifically the Louisville police officers, and his putter. That's it. It basically those are his two kryptonites. So Superman had one kryptonite. Apparently, Scotty Scheffler has two. Although I can't see him returning to Louisville, Kentucky anytime soon. So maybe he only truly has the one kryptonite of his putter. But like I said, it was surprising. Only because since he did make that putter switch, it seemed like every time as of late that he would start to struggle again. Like I said, he would drain that one, and then something would happen, and then it would just be he would start looking like Jordan Spieth from 30 feet every time he stepped on the green anymore. So yeah, it didn't happen this week. Obviously, you know, Nikki mentioned it. Ted Scott was obviously not feeling 100%. The one bad round he had at the PGA, Ted Scott was not there. So once again, I think Ted Scott definitely proved his worth this year. He definitely has got a you know, I'm sure Scotty's paying him very well, but he's got a case for a raise. And Ted Scott is also doing wonders for all the people out there that try to claim that caddies don't actually count or mean anything out there, and they're just there to carry your bag, and they don't really do much of anything else. Because, yeah, look at basically the times when either Ted Scott was not on his bag or not 100% on his bag, and look at the difference in his performance.
But speaking of that, can we talk about Terrell Hatton, who decided to pick up and carry his own bag because he said, I don't deserve to have someone else carry my bag because of the way that I'm playing, which I think, honestly, like, respect to that. Like,
100%. Yeah, good for him.
Real talk, I have done that to an extent before. There have been plenty of times where I've been playing golf. Now you can't do it with yourself with a cart, but there have been times where playing with somebody else and we're riding the cart, even if I'm, you know, the driver. If I hit a really bad shot, I will just start walking, and, you know, I'll say, oh, I'm going to walk to the shot. I'm basically punishing myself. I'm like, that shot was so bad. I don't deserve to ride in a cart to my ball again. I'm walking to that ball because it was so bad. So I definitely felt those vibes from him when he was carrying his own bag.
There was a lot of club throwing this tournament. Even Scotty, good old sanctimonious Scotty, threw his club a few times, and I just sit there in my couch and I'm like, just hang on to the damn club, folks. But there was a lot of tough shots, a lot of tough weather. We saw everything that Royal Troon could throw at these guys, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And Dan, you brought up a good point, I think, on Twitter, where it's like, look, everyone complains about scoring conditions at the US Open because that's kind of tricked out. Like, the course is tricked out for that. But this is when just Mother Nature comes in and throws everything they can at this thing. I had a lot of fun watching it. Any final thoughts on the Open? I mean, it was a pretty straightforward one. Great winner. Anything else you got?
See, that's the thing. The most fun majors to me this year were the Open and the US Open to watch anyway. Like, because the course was so tough and the conditions were so tough. Like, it was just creating chaos out there. And like, it's not that Augusta doesn't, but it's just Scotty was so far ahead that it's just like, it didn't matter what was happening. Like, there was chaos happening behind Scotty, but it didn't matter because he was so far ahead. But like the other two, I don't know, it created enough excitement and tension and a close leaderboard and a fight to the finish. And I don't know, I think, you know, we've said before too, like, the Hollow is just, bleh, you know, but I don't know. It makes me, I guess, I kind of excited for this next year because we've got Augusta, we've got Oakmont,
yeah,
and
we have
Portrush,
and then where's the Wells Fargo is every year because that's where the PGA is.
Quail Hollow.
Quail Hollow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw them I saw that meme yesterday when it referring to the four majors. You know, the four-headed dragon, where the three are super like nasty, and then the fourth one with the tongue sticking out for Wells for Quail Hollow.
Quail Hollow.
Because basically, like, if you're, well, I was about to tweet this out yesterday, but then I realized I can't because of Pebble Beach existing, even though it's technically a different course on Pebble property. But if you play a weekly or a yearly regular PGA Tour stop, like, kind of tough to then make it a major, the golf course, not the, you know, the tournament.
Right.
But like, Wells, I mean, but then I was going to say that, but then I'm like, I know some people are going to come at me about Pebble, and yeah, it's a different course on Pebble property. Yeah. I guess there's some, I don't know, Wells Fargo or
sometimes too.
Quail Hollow is just uninspiring, I think. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Bet the house on Rory at Quail Hollow. I mean, that's kind of the
right.
horses for courses. Is that what it is? I don't know. Yeah. That man, he just ejected like by the third hole of the tournament for him. It just, I don't know. Rory's all over the
Rory
place.
Back at Portrush though next year.
That's
true. See, here's interesting too about Rory. You had Rory come out and say basically like, yeah, I just started wondering where I was going on vacation. Like I ejected, I was done, I did not care anymore, and played like it. And then at the same exact time, you have that quote on Saturday or Friday for Max Homa, who you would have thought he just won like the Super Bowl for making the cut, and he's like, man, he's like, I have been playing so bad as of late, nothing has gone right, and just to get. But it was, I mean, granted, Rory's comment was relatable too, but I don't know. Something just stuck with me with that Max Homa quote. Like, it was so relatable. Like, all of us in our lives have gone through that stretch of we're like, nothing, we can't do anything right. Nothing will go right. And then it may be the most insignificant, inconsequential, smallest thing. But that one thing that goes right, and you just like, you treat it like you just won the lottery, even though it might have been because you finally got something to happen good.
Well,
and I'm just like, that's amazing. Yeah. But then you have Rory, it's like, yeah, 3 holes in, I'm like, where am I going on vacation? I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, then don't even be out there. Like, then what?
That's basically my Monday today. Like we got Windows 11 at work, and I don't know how to do anything. And I let out a little primal scream when I realized I can open Outlook. And I don't know.
Exactly.
I am also thinking about vacation.
Yeah. Me too.
So
Thursday can't come soon enough.
That's right. Crazy weekend overall for a lot of reasons. But golf wise, definitely a fun tournament. I know Trevor wants to talk more about this, and I think we'll have an episode where we dive deeper into this, but I think it boils down, at least on the men's side, for golfer of the year. It's a race right now between Xander and Scotty. And we don't got to go too deep into this right now. I mean, I can't think of anyone else, unless either of you two can, who really kind of belongs in that conversation. I've already let my opinion be known, but any initial way too early thoughts on golfer of the year on the men's side?
Someone's going to make the argument for Bryson, but you know that they will not give it to him because it has to be a PGA Tour player. And someone's going to make the argument. They're going to make the case that, well, he deserves it because he's above, like, but they won't give it to him. Like, they won't.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see why all of the arguments, but it just won't happen. So I agree. I think someone who's won 2 majors should be in the conversation, but also Scotty and his performance this year and the fact that they let him get arrested. I feel like, giving him a player of the year trophy should be like sorry about that. I think it will also depend on what happens at the FedEx Cup. I think, I think it will depend on what happens there too.
Fair enough. Dan, do you lean in one way or another?
Yeah. So here's another. I know it's not a PGA Tour sanctioned event, but people who vote have eyeballs. They're both playing in the Olympics. So I think that if one of them adds a gold medal to their list of accolades for the year, that's basically your winner, especially if it's Xander, who is the defending gold medalist. Like, if he goes back to back on top of everything he's done on tour, there's nobody in their right mind who could sit there and say that he's not the best golfer in the world, hands down, no question, no arguments from anybody. So I do think that even though it's not a PGA Tour event, I would have to imagine and hope that these Olympic results will factor in at least a little bit, especially when you consider it's so tight of a race right now, and they're both playing in it. So it's not like you can say, oh, well, only one was in it. I mean, they're both in it. And then, I think like everything else in life, when it comes to the PGA Tour, and they've done this for a reason, it's going to come down to Eastlake too, because that's how the tour set up their livelihood for everything to end at Eastlake. So why not this too, right?
So let's say Scotty wins the FedEx Cup, Xander wins the gold medal. How do you balance that out? Because in the PGA Tour's eyes, the FedEx Cup is the top of the top. It is what you they hold that higher than any of the majors,
So maybe in that spot, maybe Scotty wins PGA Tour Player of the Year, but then Xander wins what's the bigger one, the men's golf for the year, like from the PGA of America or whatever. I don't remember who actually does that, but maybe they split it. Maybe it gets split. One wins PGA Tour Player of the Year, and one wins the overarching
the big one,
men's golf of the year. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean, that would be for Scotty. It would be, a green jacket and the FedEx Cup but then for Xander, that's 2 majors. That's the Wanamaker, the Claret Jug, and another gold medal. Like,
yeah.
Scotty also at the elevated events, which the tour considers to be like essentially their versions of majors. I mean, when you look at the way they view those elevated
jacket,
events,
a plaid jacket, a red cardigan,
an orange jumpsuit,
an orange jumpsuit.
Get your Scotty Slam shirts now, folks.
Scotty Slam shirts still available. Shout out Dottie Pepper. I would agree. I mean, Nikki, I'm on that same wavelength with you. I mean, Xander right now, I'm kind of leaning right now at this moment as anyway. If he adds another gold medal on top of that, I think it's over. I mean, for sure.
But Xander's not out of it for the FedEx Cup either, though.
He isn't.
We have our rankings. Xander's like, he's not, now that he has won his second major, he's still a lot of points behind, but the point differential used to be a lot different.
Yeah.
A lot bigger. So
no, with Eastlake now, everything resets anyway. He would be, if the season ended today at Eastlake, he'd be what, one shot or 2 shots back. He'd be what, 8 under to Scotty's 10 under, or is it 9 under even if you're in second?
I think it's a couple shots, yeah. And so, there's this ongoing series. Yeah, I mean he's right in it. It is definitely a 2-horse race.
You birdie the first and Scotty bogeys the first, and all of a sudden you're tied going the whole rest of the way.
You never know. I mean, you never know. Nikki's been on top of this too. I mean, on the website, she's got the road to Atlanta. It's funny. There's a lot of big things happening in Atlanta these days, it seems, and golf is going to be no different apparently. Please go out and read those recaps that Nikki's been putting out on the website as well. It's really well done, and it's really good to kind of keep an eye on where all the jostling goes, because all these events come through, these points getting thrown around. We don't really know who's where in regard to everything. So Nikki, you've been making it really easy for people to just log on and take a look where everything lands at the moment.
Yeah, trying to. We've also got a look at, we talk about the top 5, but we also try to take a look at the people at the bottom who, because only the top 70 start the playoffs before they make the next cut at 50 and then 30. But we try to take a look at who's on the edge, and so right now, like Luke List is flirting with the edge, and Lucas Glover is currently out of it, but there's a couple more events where he could potentially get in there. So I think last week heading into the Open, Adam Scott was on the edge, like literally on the edge. And, but obviously he has a high enough finish at the Open that it bumped him up high enough that he's currently in it now. So, I mean, you can't lose FedEx Cup points. So.
Right. Yeah. Lucas Glover, man, that's another name, kind of fell off the face there for a little bit. He had a hell of a year last year.
He's also on the Atlanta Drive golf club team. Thank you.
All things come back to Atlanta. It's golf.
Thank you.
It's where golf. Yeah.
We're very proud of our team.
Well done.
Rise up.
Shout out Arthur Blank.
Shout out. You've got too many quarterbacks. That's all I'm going to say. I can't. It's football season. It's football season. I'm ready. God, this is my favorite. Football Nikki is my favorite Nikki, I think. That's just.
I'm already upset. I'm already upset.
So excited.
The only thing
Atlanta Braves
knowing that the Chiefs come to play at home, and that Taylor Swift is not on tour during that time. So there is a possibility that she will come to our house and that I may get to see her in person, because I did not get Eras Tour tickets. And so my Eras Tour will be watching the Falcons lose to her boyfriend, but I may get to see a glimpse of her across the stadium. That is my only hope this football season.
Well, Nikki, if you want to come down to Miami, apparently the whole world now knows how you can get into Hard Rock Stadium without a ticket. So feel free to come down.
Those strategic exits on how to climb into the air vents and Hard Rock. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Well, on that note, really quick, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor of Golf Unfiltered, being True Linkswear. You'll see the two hats, the two on the noggins of Dan and I. Go out to truelinkswear.com, use code unfiltered15, save a little money on your purchase. They've been treating us really well. They've got some really cool stuff coming out. We've got a video that's going to drop later this week. I can't talk too much about it right now, but it's going to be dropped once they're able to get the information out, they being True Linkswear. So stay tuned for that on our YouTube channel.
They've got some
Go
cool astronaut space theme.
I know you love the
now,
space.
Which I know. I listen. I think the spaceman is a cool little look with his little True flag, and I don't know.
Hey, it's.
I'm also a sucker for rope hats. So you throw a logo on a rope hat, and it may not even really matter as long as it's not those giant letters from golf courses. I still will not do those, even with it being a rope hat.
Yeah, and I don't the letters that are upside down now, like the Dallas one. Yeah, I can't do that. I don't know. We talked about the Olympics. The Olympics are right around the corner. It's something that we love here at GU, and we're going to be watching all of it. And I know Nikki is going to be paying close attention to every sport, as am I, but gymnastics definitely. Yes. It's on nonstop at my house. My wife loves watching it. I know you do too. What do we got for the Olympics coming up here, Nikki? I know you said you had something special for us.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the opening ceremonies are Friday night. So it's currently Monday. So it's this week. So it'll kick off. And golf doesn't start like right away, but it'll start off. And I mean, swimming is going to be taking up. Swimming starts the whole time. Like there's so many swimming events. But yeah, I thought we would do, I have some Olympic trivia questions. I want to see how much you guys know.
Now, is this only Summer Olympics or is it winter and summer?
Yeah. I only pulled like Summer Olympic things specifically. Right. I'm not diving into like figure skating stats or anything. So, and it's broad. I didn't focus on one specific sport. I'm not like, what is a Yurchenko? But if you know, bonus points. That's great.
Is that a boxer or?
No, it's a move. It's a move.
It is. Yeah. It is a gymnastics. Yes. Yeah.
Quick side note: if it was Winter Olympics, my wife's cousin, Rebecca Wilczak, is still, I believe, got the highest ever for an American female in the luge of all sports, back in like Salt Lake City.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know. My wife actually wore her luge outfit for Halloween one year. Those were the good old days.
That's not cool. No, Cool Runnings is bobsled.
That is right. Yeah.
Sanka.
Very interesting.
Okay. Okay. Olympic trivia. Okay. I tried to start like, easy ones. Like where did the Olympics originate?
Athens, Greece.
Yes. Greece. Yes.
Nice.
Then, yes, in 776 BCE. And then they were banned for being considered pagan.
That's right.
Until, in 393 CE.
Just like the FedEx Cup.
Yeah. For
Too
a while,
pagan. Yeah.
But then they were picked back up again in 1896. So that's a long time without the Olympics. And when they were picked back up for the modern Olympics, like what we consider today, what country was the first to host the modern Olympics?
Oh,
it's got to be like Germany or something.
Oh.
Or is that too early even for them?
I don't know. This is a great question. I'm going to stick with Greece.
Or is it a trick question?
I was going to say, is it a trick question? And the answer is Greece.
Is it still Greece?
It is Athens. Yes.
Okay, here we go.
So after Athens, now we're getting into Paris. Paris hosted in 1900. How many times, including 2024, because obviously we're going there this year, how many times has Paris hosted the Olympics?
Counting
so the first time
year,
was 1900?
Yeah, the first time was 1900.
I'm going to say 3 if we're counting this year.
Dan, you say 3?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this will be the 4th time.
Dan would be correct. It is 3.
Okay.
Only 3. 1900, 1924, and then 2024.
Wow. 100 years later.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. There's a movie on, I believe it's Netflix, with Jason Sudeikis, and now I am completely blanking on the movie, about Jesse Owens from the Paris Olympics in 1924. That's really great. Like if you want something to watch to get into the Olympic spirit, it's a really great movie.
Oh, it's called Race.
Yes, Race.
Yep.
Double meaning there in the title of the movie, but okay. What year were women first allowed to compete in the Olympics?
I'm going to say, I don't know, 1924 stuck out again. I'll go with that.
I'm trying to do the every 4-year math in my head here. So
this answer surprised me. I truly did not expect this number, but
I'll say 1936.
it was actually 1900. I
Really?
fully expected it to be later than that, but
yeah. Wow.
However, they were not allowed to compete in everything. Only 5 sports. Do you know what sports?
Oh, quick clarification. Are they still like actual events now? They're not going to be some weird.
They are.
All right.
They are. They are still. Yeah. They're not
swimming.
Like
Swimming, gymnastics, track and field.
Wow.
And they're still. Oh, the triathlon or one of the athlons.
How about the equestrian?
Yes, equestrian is one of them.
Okay. You said there were 5 total.
All right, so equestrian is marathon running. It's part of the track field. Okay.
Think about the clothing of the time period in 1900 and what a woman would possibly be allowed.
Right.
Equestrian.
Was it like archery?
No, but
Biathlon?
It's along those lines of like one of those weird ones.
Oh, like the speed walking?
No, but
that one's always weird to me. I'm like, basically
pretty popular.
Breakdancing.
Speed walking will never not be funny to me. Like I always just think about like I go for my walks in the afternoon and
one of
somebody's
them
winning
I'm
Olympic gold
really
medals.
Surprised you haven't said
golf.
Oh, golf.
Yep.
Okay.
It is equestrian, golf, croquet,
softball?
Sailing, and tennis.
Tennis.
I don't think
Sailing.
softball existed in 1900.
No,
How did I not get
softball.
Tennis.
Yeah.
Tennis made sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because golf had a big break there for a while, right? There were many years.
Yeah. It was in, and then it was not for a long time, and then it came back.
Right.
Okay, how many sports will be in this year's Olympics? Remember, they just added breaking.
Right.
They added like surfing and a bunch of stuff.
Surfing was added last year.
25.
32.
Exactly, 32.
Okay. Good job.
I know you were guessing.
Wow. All right.
We know you were guessing, but
wow. 32.
Okay, across those 32 sports, how many events? I think you remember swimming has multiple different.
Swimming has like 30 events just by itself. So does track and field. There's got to be that number's got to be well over 100. Well over 100.
125.
127.
329.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Wow.
I was going to say, if you think about it, just between track, swimming, and gymnastics, there's probably got to be close to 100 just between the 3 of those sports.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, gymnastics alone, you've got the team medal, and then you have the individual all around, but then you have an individual medal on each apparatus for men and women. And then like swimming, same
thing with swimming, you have everything's an individual and a team for every single one of them across the board.
And not only the different type of stroke, but type for distance.
Distance too, yeah. Yep.
And with track, same thing. Yeah. I mean, that's wild. So since we're in France, for what event does France have the most gold medals?
Just in the summer games we're talking?
In summer. Summer, yeah. If you think about it, it makes sense.
Oh,
Bad.
sailing.
No.
Mm. Oh man, this is tough.
Dressage.
What did you say?
Dressage, the horse,
I
the
don't know
horse
what
thing.
Oh,
That I forgot that that's like the actual name for it, but no.
but no.
But no. Okay.
Gosh, this
Eating
is
baguettes.
yeah. Maurice the baguette. I'm drawing a blank.
Is it one of the athlons?
It's not one of the.
Is it
athlons.
water based?
It isn't.
Oh, my next guess was going to be water polo. So okay, never mind then.
Man, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
Archery.
No, it is fencing.
Oh,
That okay, that makes
Which is why I
Yeah.
said, if you think about it, like
yeah.
it makes sense.
I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
Since you keep bringing up the athlons, what is
Yeah.
for the triathlon? What is the order of the triathlon?
Biking, swimming, running.
You say bike, swim, run.
Yeah.
Bike, run, swim.
It is swim, bike, run. Neither of you
Oh,
are
okay.
right.
I was so sure of myself on that one too. That was not a guess. That was I
But you
legitimately
swim
thought that's
first,
what
and
it
then
was.
you have all that time to dry off while you're biking
Yeah,
and running.
that's right.
Yeah, I guess that makes
That's right.
sense. I guess that makes sense.
What is the Olympics official motto? I don't know that I would have known this if I hadn't have
5
looked it up.
rings.
I have no idea.
1 ring
The
to
official
rule them
motto.
all.
There are
Yeah.
5 rings. Do you know what the 5 rings like are supposed to represent?
Isn't it like peace, equality, stuff like that? I feel like
Oh, I thought it was.
like,
I thought it was the continents.
Yes,
No,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there's 7 continents.
No, they're supposed to represent the
5 regions.
You're
or
on the
whatever.
right. Yeah, the regions.
I see. Got it. I can't. The motto, is it like some Latin?
It's
I
not
don't know.
Latin, no, but it's one of those like, oh, okay, I think I've heard that maybe once, like faster, higher, stronger, together.
No, never heard that before. I hate
Like,
that.
is that
actually.
written down somewhere?
Not
Like,
even
do they all cheer that at the beginning or something? Like,
Right. Yeah. No, I've never heard that.
um,
And listeners, if you've heard that, you're lying. You've never. No one knows that.
yeah. Don't be like, of course it is. Of
No,
course.
I don't want to hear it.
There's one person listening that's like, it's faster, higher, stronger together. What country has the most gold medals with 1,022?
Oh, it's
Greece.
the U.S.
Yeah, USA.
Yeah.
USA. All right, and finally, who is the most decorated Olympian in history, and how many medals has
Michael
he or she won?
Phelps.
Michael Phelps.
16?
Is it 200?
16 medals? I mean, I know he had 8 in that one Olympics just by himself, and then he did a couple of.
So
So I'm going to say between some other team stuff, he's got to have maybe not 16. He's got to have 14, I would say.
It's actually Paralympian swimmer. That was a trick question.
Oh, okay.
Trisha Zorn Hudson. She has 55 medals, and 41 of them
Wow.
are gold.
Wow.
Um,
All right. Shout out to her.
I
Non-
apologize.
That's if you include all Olympians, both Olympic and Paralympic. But yes, you are correct. It is Michael Phelps. He has 28 medals, and 23 of them were gold, which
That's
is
incredible.
insane.
It is insane. So where is Ledecky right now? Like, is she anywhere close to that? I know we haven't, not to put anyone on the spot, but she's going to be pretty close if she's not already. Just absolutely demolishing people in the water.
Just 10, 7 gold, 3 silver.
Okay.
So
Yeah, she will add to that for sure. Yeah, wow. That was fun. Thank you for putting that together. I really enjoyed that, actually. God, I am so psyched for the Olympics. I can't wait to lose money on track and field. By the way, I'm gonna say right now, go
Yes, I know where you're
men's
going.
men's
Yes.
UST, they're gonna take silver. right now, men's basketball are taking silver. They are trash.
Who had a worse tune-up game? The men beating South Sudan by a point, or the women just getting boat raced by all the women who didn't make the Olympic team. Like,
Dan, I'm a huge W fan now. Like, I am all in on the WNBA.
We're constantly texting.
Do you know how many gold medals Team USA has won in basketball?
All of them. All of them since the 90s.
I'm thinking.
How many
is it 10
total?
I don't know.
How many
total?
golds
Yeah,
or how many total?
Just the men.
The men gold or the men total?
Men gold.
Oh, the men gold. Every gold but one since 92. I don't know what the math is on that. I'm gonna say 15.
16.
Wow.
Total between the men and women, they've won 25 gold medals.
Yeah.
Well,
the women's team is gonna just absolutely dominate. The men's team, I don't think so much. There's so much parity. This is an entirely different rabbit hole, but there's so much parity in men's basketball right now, internationally. I mean, think about the NBA draft. They're all Frenchmen. The first, So it's going to be something. But no.
You want to talk about parity? You want to talk about parity on the women's side? We have way too much. We could send 2 teams on the women's side to Paris we could send a team A and a team B, and they would probably both medal on the women's side.
Yeah, they're incredible. Nikki, is Simone a for sure gold medal, or?
I mean, here's the thing. Probably yes.
Okay.
I mean, there are other for the all around, probably yes. I think for the team, it's gonna depend on, I mean, her scores should help skyrocket the rest of the team to gold. Right. There's some other teams that are pretty good though. So last year was difficult when she kind of pulled out, but Suni Lee is incredible. Honestly, the US team is really good this year. So
I got one.
Suni Lee. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. I was gonna say, so for people like me who just catapult into gymnastics once every 4 years during the Olympic time, who is going to be this version of Allie Raceman, who nobody talked about leading up to it, and then all of a sudden is going to be the next name that everyone will know come the end of the month, basically?
Hesley Riviera. She's 16 years old. She nobody really talked about her even potentially making the team this year, and that girl dominated the qualifiers. I think she's going to give a lot of them a run for their money on the individuals. Probably going to give Jade Carey a run for her money too. But yeah, I think Hesley is going to be a name to look out for because she's also only 16.
Yeah,
so this is not going to be her last Olympics for sure.
And Dan, by the way, I'm disappointed in you. You said catapulted into gymnastics, and vaulted was right there, and you didn't go there. It was right there.
I said catapulted, and I heard it, and I was like, no. And then I'm like, I can't. I just need to power through it.
Well, we're up against the clock, folks. Tune into the Olympics. Obviously, we're going to be sure to follow all of us all over social media. You could follow our group at Golf Unfiltered, but please also follow myself, Nikki, and Dan at our handles there on the screen, at Nikki Dunnigan and at Dan Hauser Sports for those listening on your car radio or at the gym, wherever you listen to podcasts. I think that's all we got today. So, Nikki, Dan, thanks so much for hopping on. We'll be back again very soon.